This orange cat was dead set on proving that cats can't die from falling. So, he decided to jump off a 100-meter tall tower. The second time around, he thought cats were stronger than humans. He then tried to lift a barbell that was 100 times heavier than himself, but he got crushed into a pulp right on the spot. Later, he wanted to prove that cannons were the fastest means of transportation. As a result, his whole life flashed by in an instant. The next day, Puss opened his eyes again. He was alive once more. This time, though, there was a famous doctor standing right in front of him. The doctor thought Puss needed to run some tests.
Relax. Trust me, I run hot. Yep.
The doctor told Puss he'd already lost 8 of his 9 lives. He advised Puss to stop taking reckless risks, and he even gave Puss the address of a stray cat shelter. That night, Puss headed straight to a bar to drown his sorrows in drinks. All of a sudden, a creepy whistle rang out. A weird wolf showed up and said he was a fan of Puss in Boots. He asked Puss for an autograph, but he kept pointing at the character for death the whole time.
Alright, let's get it over with. Spare me if you dare me.
The wolf pulled out his 2 scimitars and attacked, forcing Puss to retreat step by step. For the first time ever, Puss felt the fear of death creeping in. Puss was so scared that he didn't even have the courage to pick up his sword. The wolf opened the bathroom door with 0 effort, but by then, Puss had already made a run for it. Puss followed the address and made his way to the stray cat shelter. While he was there, he accidentally overheard a group of thieves talking. They mentioned that a wizard named Horner had a map. This map pointed to the wishing star, and the wishing star could grant any wish a person had. To get back the 8 lives he'd lost, Puss decided to take one last gamble. Just as he was looking for the map, he ran into Kitty, his old flame from the past. They were in the middle of fighting over the map when the thieves showed up, and Horner spotted Puss too. Right after that, 4 groups broke out into a fierce brawl. Amid all the chaos, Puss took Kitty and fled, but Puss's friend Perito got captured by the thieves. The thieves held Perito hostage. Puss tried to use the map's magic to change the terrain, but out of nowhere, a crystal maze rose up from the ground. The maze trapped Puss inside. Kitty had no other choice. She had to go rescue Perito all by herself. While Puss was stuck in the maze, he saw the 8 lives he'd lost appear before him. Those lost lives urged him to abandon his friends. They told him that if he did that, he could get his 8 lives back. Just as Puss was hesitating, the death wolf showed up again. He shattered all the crystals and started closing in on Puss. Puss turned around and ran as fast as his legs could carry him. When he reached the deep part of the forest, the huge wishing star appeared right beneath him. He jumped into the canyon without a second thought. He landed right in the middle of the wishing star. Now, he could make any wish he wanted. Just as he was about to wish for his 8 lives back, Kitty appeared in front of him. She looked disappointed. She'd had enough of Puss's selfishness. Watching his beloved walk away, Puss couldn't hold back anymore. He told her the truth. But right after he finished speaking, the death wolf showed up again. He swung his scythe and trapped Puss with 2 energy barriers. In that moment, Puss was faced with a life or death choice.
You're gonna take the coward's way out, run away to more lives. Pick it up. Come on, pick it up.
As he thought back to the times he'd spent with Kitty and Perito, he made his final decision.
Lives flashing before your eyes.
No, just one.
He threw the map aside, grabbed his weapon, and stood up to the death wolf. In that instant, Puss regained the courage he'd had in his prime. Finally, Puss landed a hit on the death wolf, but the death wolf hadn't been using his full power this whole time. The death wolf knocked Puss's sword out of his paw, but at the last second, Puss used the dagger Kitty had given him to block the fatal strike. After that, the death wolf's power seemed to fade away. He didn't even get a chance to fight back. Puss even managed to chop off part of the death wolf's weapon. Puss jumped into the air and unleashed his signature move. He kicked the death wolf's side right in front of him, just like the death wolf had humiliated him before. The death wolf kept closing in on Puss. No matter how much killing intent he let out, he couldn't sense an ounce of fear in Puss. In the end, the death wolf gave up, because the one he'd come to kill was a cat who'd grown arrogant because he had 9 lives. But now, Puss was no longer that arrogant cat.